This is the process shot. I'm Michael. I'm stuck in a haunted movie theater, and I've seen You're Not Alone, a new horror thriller from director Christopher Stokes. It follows Keith and Alexis Mitchell, a father and daughter who are still coping with the death of the family matriarch, whose name I forget because she doesn't actually matter too much to the story. Anyways, their local community is plagued by a serial killer who stalks women online and over the phone before attacking and murdering them in their homes. For rather convoluted reasons, Alexis becomes a target, something which is complicated further by her being placed under house arrest and Keith being away on a business trip. Helplessly watching through their home security system as she is hunted down in her own home. Not that anything comes of any of this, really. That's pretty much the meat of the film's primary events. The remaining 50 or 60% are either flashbacks, side stories, or other distractions that almost make you forget that you're supposed to be watching a horror movie. Not that the horror story itself is anything worth sticking through, and not just because it's a poor ripoff of Scream. The movie almost simultaneously prides itself on taking elements from that movie, while also trying to hide its influence by falling back on the most basic of horror tropes. As you can guess, the end result of all of this is a boring slog through false scares, repetitive segments, scenes which go nowhere at first and go ignored later, and ultimately something which almost feels cobbled together from two different stories, the Scream ripoff and a techno-thriller about a father trying to protect his daughter through his home security system. That second story is only barely present, and mostly seems like an excuse for the film to include Michael J. White, who is arguably one of the few people here who seems to be trying. Despite his efforts, it seems almost like he was limited to 2 days of shooting, which is why almost all of his scenes take place in a single location. Alexis, portrayed by Precious Way, is a bit more mixed when it comes to her performance, though whenever she's actually working with others, she does better. I'm phrasing it like that because for most of the film, she's literally on her own. In any case, even at their best, they're still held back by the writing, which can be so bland or uninteresting that you might accidentally tune out entirely because of how little there is to focus upon. Then again, it's not like there's much worth focusing upon in the first place. The film's technical elements are pretty lazy, not so much incompetent, but very much thrown together and without any sense of style or creative direction. Cinematography is pretty much based entirely on whatever a scene needs, with no concern for any sort of visual storytelling. Editing is also used practically, and together they probably explain why the movie is lacking in its ability to maintain interest. It also doesn't help that after a while, you're only seeing the same 2 or 3 locations over time, one of which is shot from the same cramped angles, and the other just having no real life to anything within it. Any other creative potential is ultimately ignored in favor of focusing on the story, though I imagine this is more because after all is said and done, that much is really all that they have in their court. But that's still far from anything that can carry the film, no matter how hard anybody is actually trying. If anything, this film just shows that the lead actors probably could be doing better off in a production that is also trying to be something more than cinematic filler. You're Not Alone, Christopher Stokes, 2023. 1 star. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend watching it. That's it for this review. If you liked it, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel for more reviews. Man, Scream is another movie I haven't gotten to see while I've been stuck here. I swear, if it turns out this place is some kind of purgatory dedicated to keeping me from watching the most popular films, I would not be surprised in the slightest.